Okay, so listen, I've talked a lot about the Snyder Cut over the span of the last year and a half. You guys know I'm for it. I know you're for it. I talk about it a lot, but I literally just came across this article in the Washington damn Post. I'm not kidding you. Look at this here. More than a year later, Justice League fans are ramping up demands to hashtag release the Snyder Cut. Now, this is actually a pretty big deal. It's a pretty big deal that this particular a piece story, if you will, and it's not a shit piece. It's not going after anybody. It's legitimately like giving you guys the rundown of what it is. The fact that this is in the Washington Post means this is now hitting the national stage, which is exactly what you guys who want the Snyder Cut to be released absolutely positively want. See, listen, in the movie blogger sphere, in that particular realm, you guys get mocked pretty heavily, right? There's a lot of people out there on social media that always like to mock the release of Snyder Cut people because they think that it's a fruitless effort. They think that it's just a never gonna happen, a pipe dream, right? It's a nightmare scene, you know what I mean? It's one of those things that they talk a lot of crap about. And I'm not gonna say that the movie is going to ever come out because I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come out. I have friends of mine who do movie coverage that say that it's never going to come out. But that same friend told me that he had talked to someone who had seen another cut of the film, and that might be the original cut that Snyder had put together before bringing on Joss Whedon to rewrite some of the scenes or to add additional scenes. And this was before, I think, February or March 2017. Snyder has a vision for this movie, and it's a vision that was in no way realized. It was a vision that was ultimately marred and, well, kind of just desecrated by Kevin Tushihara. I have no doubt in my mind that the former CEO of Warner Brothers is the person who meticulously killed this project and what it could have been. I really do believe that. There's no other explanation for it because he's the dude who ordered the 2 hour hard cut of Justice League. So then, listen, if you want to cut down to 2 hours, fine, I get that. You want to fill more screenings throughout the day. You want more people to see it. Fine with me, not against it. But you're going to want to make sure it's as tight and complete as humanly possible because the last time you did that, the last time you cut for time, the last time you wanted to make sure that a movie like this was a little bit trimmed down in order to fill up more screens and get more money was Batman v Superman, which unceremoniously kicked the DCEU square in the nuts and sent you guys into, oh dear God, what are we going to do mode? And you've never quite come out of it yet. And the reason why I say that is this, because when you have the opening weekend of BVS back March 25th, 2016 to $180 million, that was good, but the reviews were terrible. The word of mouth was terrible, so much so that it dropped 73% in its second weekend. Right around that same time, I do believe even before the second weekend, knowing that there were going to be problems in paradise, Warner Brothers came in and removed Zack Snyder from his position as the orchestrator of the DCEU, and they brought in Ben Affleck to oversee the edit of Justice League and giving him an exec producer credit. This is while Justice League was still filming, by the way, because they were shooting Justice League when BVS came out. What does that do for the morale on the set? What does that do for the morale of the franchise when you find out while you're filming the next big movie, while your last one comes out, that it failed to meet expectations, and now Warner Brothers is absolutely trying to save face publicly by throwing Zack Snyder under the bus, right? But here's the thing. Everyone involved in the project soldiered on and did their best. They did. They soldiered on. They did their best. And I believe that they believed in what it was they were doing, that they believed in the Snyder Cut, in Snyder's vision for finishing out this film. We got to see the Comic-Con trailer in 2016, right? We got to see the Comic-Con trailer. That looked fantastic. Set the tone, coming off of BVS, coming off of the extended cut, having just come out a few weeks earlier, really set the tone for what could be there. And you think with the absolute response to the ultimate cut of BVS, that where it's like everyone's like, oh my God, why wasn't this in theaters? John Schnepp, before he passed, made a great comment. He said that they left about $250 million on the table by not bringing this one in theaters. They did not do $1 billion on BVS because of that lost 30 minutes. You may not like all of the story, but you got to admit with the ultimate cut, there was a lot more there. It really did round out a lot of things, and it gave a lot more. It was a lot better of a film. So they wanted to make sure that when it came to Justice League, They had that under control, hence the 2-hour hard cut. Tushihara and the powers that be at DC Films absolutely fundamentally screwed over Zack Snyder time and time and time again. But he is a team player. At least he was a team player. He is now, but he is slowly stroking the fires. He's the reason why this article exists. And it's not just because Warner Brothers got Me Too'd, at least Kevin Tsujihara did, and they ended up replacing him with the former head of BBC Studios America, who I believe is the first female CEO of a film studio, full CEO, I believe is what it is. And as a result of that, fans have already started rallying to her saying, please release a Snyder Cut. We have people who have raised over $20,000 in order to, release the Snyder Cut to bring that attention to Comic-Con. Although I do feel that with Warner Brothers not going to Comic-Con this year, it definitely is maybe not the best. It's kind of funny, like in an ironic sort of way, that they raised all this money to go to Comic-Con and yet Warner's is not going to be there, almost as if they were afraid of them. I can't, and they're not, but you guys know what I'm trying to say, right? So you've got all that. You've got all that situation happening. You got all the stuff that's been going on. And here it is 3 years later since BVS came out. Actually, 3 years later since the Ultimate Cut came out. Almost 2 years since Justice League itself. And fans are still asking for the cut to be released. Now, this is where I believe that there needs to be some kind of unification in regards to demands. When you sit there and come out and you just say, release the Snyder Cut, well, the question then becomes, which version of it do you want to see? Do you want to see the version that that Zack Snyder put together, that he felt he needed to bring somebody else in to rewrite some of the scenes, so he or to add new scenes to flesh out the story, so he brought in Joss Whedon? Do you want to see that version? I think that's what I would want to see, if I'm being honest with you. I want to see that original vision for the film. I want to see that original cut. And I'm fine looking at the movie, very similar to watching the bootleg cut of Wolverine, X-Men Origins Wolverine from 2009. Remember that work print cut got leaked out there with unfinished special effects, and they're worried that the movie was not going to make any money, but it still did like 185 million or something like that. Like I think like opening weekend or something. It was insane. It was a huge. That's maybe I'm wrong. It was maybe a little less than that, but it had a very solid opening weekend for May 2009. People will still support it, even if it's not 100% complete. You know what I mean? Like, they'll still support it. And I think fans want to see what it is. Now, do I think that Warner should invest the money into this as a way to finish it up? Yeah. I'll tell you guys why I think that. I think that because at this point in time, they need the good press. Yes, Shazam did well-ish. They're shooting a sequel next year. Aquaman did very well. Wonder Woman is next year. Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey should do pretty well. The Joker should do pretty good. But when it comes to their core DCEU lineup, a film series that doesn't have the problem of differing rights between studios, they own everything outright. They got to try to figure out a way to rebuild that trust with the audience. And I think by releasing, if anything, whatever the full cut of the first finished cut of the film was before Tushihara said, cut it down to 2 hours on the max, right? Before that, whatever that might be, even that's probably more Zack Snyder related than what we got in theaters, because what we got in theaters, the theatrical cut that we got, was predominantly Joss Whedon. You can tell because Ben Affleck got fat. You can tell what's Joss Whedon. You can tell what's Zack Snyder. And I think that's a big part of it all. That's a big part of it, is that they really, really, really need to release it, to finish it and release it, and then get some goodwill back with the fans. Now, I'll be realistic, because this is clearly a pipe dream, or it's clearly a wishful thinking, I should say. When that if that happens, let's say they do, let's say perfect world scenario, they listen and they finally release something. What if it's not good? Then it's going to be all that money wasted. And are people who wanted to go and see Justice League, they wanted it to be good, are they going to come out and support it? I mean, they might, considering that it would probably be better than what we got. And so they might come out and support it out of pure curiosity. But if it's not good, then, Warner's lost money, but they still then have good faith with the audience. And I think that is something that they need more of. Warner's, the direction that they want to take the DCEU at this point by James Wan producing the Trench horror film, as the first project under Walter Hamada, really, that he's like that he's greenlighting, that wasn't already in production when he came on board or already in the works. It just feels like it's playing it safe. But then again, when you've got the guy who brought $1 billion to the table on Aquaman, that probably wouldn't have happened otherwise. You kind of give him what he wants, and if this is the vanity project, then you let him have his vanity project. I just want to see the Snyder Cut, and the fact that they're talking about it in the Washington Post, the fact that it's a neutral, fair write-up about it is pretty damn amazing, and it goes to show you that it's working. Public knowledge of this is growing. It might have been a year and a half, a little more than that, since the movie came out, but the fans in that year and a half have gotten the attention of mainstream media, of the national freaking conversation, and people are going to be paying attention to this. They may laugh at it, they may mock it a little bit, but they'll be talking about it. And at the end of the day, that's what the Snyder Cut fans should be wanting. People to talk about it, and then hopefully someone at Warner's, perhaps this new person in charge, this new lady, can sit there and go, well, I want to win over the fans. What's it going to cost me to put out this particular cut? You know what? It's a possibility. Tushihara can't screw it over anymore. He can't hurt it anymore. Maybe what it needs is not a father, but a mother. God, it would only be better if her name was Martha, wouldn't it? If her name was Martha, what's her name here? Her name is Anne Sarnoff. Not Martha, but if it was Martha, it would have been Kismet, and that would have been great. But your thoughts, your opinions, I want to hear them. Let me know down in the comments below. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.